Hi, so with this tartan, the set is really big. It's 13 3/8 inches. And it doesn't look it at first. Because see, it looks like it from here to here is maybe a repeat. But this is actually green. It goes blue, green, 2 reds, green, blue, 2 reds, blue again. So the set is from there to there, which is 13 3/8 inches. So my options for pleating it are less like, I don't understand this very well, but I think that it would be hard to pleat to the set with such a big repeat. But so with my measurements, I will have either 17 pleats. I will have either 17 pleats or 34 pleats. And the 17 pleats will be really deep. You can see right here, these are really deep. If I went with 34, that'd be about half that depth, but they'd be closer together. So it's really a matter of stylistic taste, which you prefer. Here's a leftover bit of where I was pleating it to this red stripe. I undid it, but here is an example of it being pleated to this thin red stripe here, and it gives this impression of purple right here, which I really like. And here's another variation where it's pleated with this part being green. Over here, this part here is the blue. So I don't like this as much. It's more of the red-green type tartan, which some people think looks Christmassy or whatever. I don't know, I just really like the illusion of this purple right here, where the blue and the red overlap. So this is what I'm going to go with, and this is how wide they'll be. I think that if I did narrow pleats, it wouldn't give a whole lot of room on either side. This would be halved, and it would, I don't think this way of pleating would look as good because it doesn't have as much room over on each side. And I feel like this way of pleating makes the pleats have the impression of being smaller because each pleat is basically divided in half visually. Also, it gives me the benefit of only sewing 17 pleats instead of 34, which is nice. I like it over the option of pleating to this stripe here, which is a cool look personally. It creates this really broad, like, just red, and really strong horizontal, a really strong horizontal feel to it. But I prefer this, so that's what I'm going to go with. Well, when I sewed this first pleat, I forgot to put in the buttonhole. So I'm ripping out the seam and re-sewing it with the buttonhole. This is one benefit of sewing by hand. It's much easier to remove seams for alterations or mistakes such as this without unintentionally damaging the cloth. Okay, so I finished all the pleats that I can fit into this half of the fabric. So now I have to join up this half to this half. And so I'm going to join it probably along this green line here, because ideally you want the join to be back here so that you can't see. Like, let's say the join was like in this pleat here. You'd want it to be here, not here, so that when the pleats flip open, you don't see the join. It's as hidden as possible, is my point. Anyway, the other main thing that my book tells me to be careful of is that I'm using the proper front of the fabric so that the twill lines match up. And in this case, they don't. Okay, so see that? These ones angle this way and these ones angle that way. So this is the wrong end to try to join here. So I need to get the other end. There you can see the twill lines are running the same direction. So I'm gonna get to it. This is how the first step turned out. Of course, it's never quite as perfect as I want it to be, but the main thing I wanted was for these stripes to line up this way, and it seems to be pretty well the case. So that's good. I'm going to iron it flat, and then I can come in and put another seam this way, and then deal with the back. This extra fabric has to be removed. Okay, here are the two scraps, and I'll be able to use these to make the fringe on the front apron. And now I'm going to go through and do a stitch along here, and then probably along here to hold this part down. And I'll try to make it as invisible as possible from the front. Well, here are some of my first pleats, and you can see the stripes don't line up so great. And I was trying the different tricks they tell you to do. Finally, I'm kind of getting them to start lining up a little bit better. You have to kind of skew the fabric. This piece goes to the left, and this piece goes to the right when you're sewing it. So like, let's say I was sewing this, instead of sewing them so they line up just right, you gotta kind of skew it that way, even while you're sewing it. I used to skew it, and then I'd get right up to the stripe and then put it straight to try to make sure it got sewn straight. But then once I pulled the thread tight, it'd get pushed over like that. So I keep it skewed a little bit up this way even while I do the stitch. And that's been working, so that's good. I still don't know how great I'm doing at keeping the stripes centered in each pleat and stuff, but I'm just doing the best I can. Kyoko's here now. Get off! Kyoko, get off! Joe, you're not supposed to be there. How did he's just looking like, what? Like, what happened? Get off of there. He's all like, what? Complain. Buddy. Oh. I know, this is my deal, not yours. It's all hairy now.